All right, folks, I'm back down here again for another week. This is leaning toward mid-November. And so we got a beautiful week here. It's supposed to rain tonight, but everything's gorgeous. Temperature couldn't be better. And so let's look at what I did yesterday and what I'll be working on today. All right, so you saw where the bubbles were coming up in the joint in the elbow down there underneath. Well, I had two more joints that had bubbles coming up. And this is the cutout pipe. So there were bubbles coming up there and bubbles coming up there. So yesterday I replaced this long 90 and that long 90 under there. And redid a pressure test. And I got more bubbles coming up in the long 90 under there. I don't understand why PVC is so hard to glue. But anyway, so I still have to redo that one. But once I do that one, I think we should be good. Otherwise, I demoed all of this wall yesterday and part of this one. These are the 2x4s from with all the nails removed. So now I'll be taking out. I cut the bottom of this column, so that's not holding anything up. I'll be taking out the exterior here and this exterior, and then taking these 2x4s out. All this from that 2x4 over is coming out, and then we can frame this 8-foot by 24-foot lower level here, and frame replace sill and part of the sill and part of the rim joist under that column, and then going from that column over, and then we can think about removing the 4 columns here. So I put in a brace here to hold up this guy. Of course, I got these diagonal braces here supporting the last joist. And all those joists before where the beam goes. So the beam is supposed to go up in this region here. And I've got some LVLs for this 24-foot beam arriving today, and all the 2x6s for framing this wall. So that wall over there is going to be framed in 2x4s. This whole river wall is going to be 2x6s. And yeah, so we'll see how things go. the base plate of the wall, which was pressure treated, but you can see the shape it's in. This used to be 32 feet of pressure treated 2x4s. And you'll see why they are in little pieces, because the nails were pulling through the boards because they were so incredibly rusted into the sill board. Now there are bolts holding the sill down. That's good. Happy about that. So next step is to remove nails, vacuum around here, clean this up. I still need to remove this silly board. So they put in a, now why they left, well, obviously they put this, this floor in here after they wallboarded, which is odd, but between the wallboard for the exit, you know, this is the drywall, or the glass door, sliding door. They put in this piece of 1 inch. Actually, it's probably deck board. It's 1 inch pressure treated. They nailed that to the sill and to the base plate, and then put in wallboard, and then put in this raised floor. So yeah, very interesting, very difficult to get up. I am beat. Thankfully the sill remained intact and is good. I'll use it, and I'll put a full 2x8 rim joist along here, band joist, rim joist, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll probably be having to rip 2x6s for the sleepers to rest on top of this floor, and then plywood would go down. So after insulation, of course. So anyway, we're going to keep this sleeper floor the way it is and just add sleepers on top of it. This has been a big week. So clearly all of this is demolished. to the bedroom. I've put in the rim joist here, band joist, whatever you call it. And I've just put these into screws. I've got compressor and nailer and nails waiting for me at home. So when I get down, and as I'm putting in the rest of the flooring, I'll be nailing things. Took out 3 columns. This one, and this one, and this one. It's not load bearing there at the bottom, as you can tell. So let's see. I've got 3 diagonal braces here that are supposed to be supporting the joists directly. And then I've got 2 4x4 columns under about 40% from here to the chimney, supporting the actual I-beam. So the I-beam does not seem to be attached to anything. All the joists are just resting on it. There was no nailer to the top of the I-beam. So the joists are simply resting on it. It's just friction. And really, I need to push these I-beams about a foot toward the chimney to make way for the W1054 I-beam that's going to go horizontally across. So I'm going to need to take a circular saw up at the very top and cut across. And with my chainsaw, remove all of this header. All this header is nailed and glued and is impossible to get apart. So I'm just going to chainsaw it up. And I'll have to remove this segment of the roof because the I-beam is going to stick out to the end of the wall here, which is above the roof. And then down there, I don't think I have to remove any roof. So next time, we'll be taking out this column, that part of the wall, and replacing all the joists here out to 56 inches. And, or 54 inches. Let's see, 54. Yeah, 54 inches from this joist right here. I'll be replacing this 12 feet of this joist because this end is rotten. And probably also the sill plate under there I'll be replacing. And I'll rejoist 54 inches that way. And all of this with sleepers. Then I can get a structural inspection for the piers and all the wood construction. Then I could insulate, inspection, plywood, and then I could start building these walls and tearing the roof off. So, oh boy, it's a lot of work. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you. Well, hello folks. So back down here for another week. This is mid-November. As you can see, I've made quite a bit of progress in taking out these posts here. There's a post here, and a post there, and one there, and the far one looks like a post, but it's not touching anything. I've got substantial supports holding up the attic. Sorry for my finger. This guy coming from the side. I got especially these 2 4x4s are holding up the I-beams that are holding up all the joists on the second floor there. And of course, the external ones outside holding up the roof. So today's job is twofold. I'm going to cut out these beams here. These are basically just headers. And then I'll start framing all of these joists for the sleepers that go in here, and then reframing, I don't know, 46 inches, 44, I'm sorry, 54 inches wide, which is 4 bays worth of joists, so that I can get that inspected and insulate. So here's a detailed view. Looking at the joist bays, I'll be removing these braces here, removing the 2 sets of joists here, cleaning up underneath all this, all the garbage, insulation and trash that's in the crawl space here. I also need to, before I insulate, at least I need to treat these 3 beams here that are just sitting on cinder block. I need to treat those just to make sure that it doesn't look like they're pressure treated, but I want to put borax on them. I'm not going to replace them. They are intact. They seem to be very strong. And they go under the part of the floor that I'm not ready to tear up yet or rebuild. So I'm just going to treat them as best I can. And then, so all the joists going in here will be pressure treated, including replacing the far part of this beam here, or rim joist. These won't be pressure treated sleepers. They're just sitting on these plywood. I'm absolutely sure that there is a vapor barrier that goes underneath the concrete that is underneath this. All of the sill plate that's under this edge here, there isn't any plastic under it, but it is pressure treated. So it's very much intact. It has been very wet though. All the nails were very heavily rusted in. They were difficult to get out, but it is intact, and so I'll be leaving that. Yeah. Also, we'll do what I hope is my final pressure test for the plumbing. I repaired the elbow that's under here, and hopefully I can be confident that when I put in the insulation, I don't have to rip it out when I have to repair a leak. Anyway, let the fun begin. All right, so it's I don't know, probably 5 o'clock. Sun's going down. See out there, nice and dark, but I got lots of light in here, thankfully. So I've ripped out the joists. I also took out the sill and the rim joist here because this is what the bottom of it looked like. Good stuff, eh? So you can see the cells of the cinder blocks where all the moisture is coming up. I'm just amazed that this isn't more rotten, but it's all moldy and rotten. So I decided to replace all this too, and it exposed, of course, the vapor barrier that's under the concrete pad. So these are the the platform, you know, that's raised up the floor to 5 inches below the normal floor level, so it wasn't such a big step down. But so then you got the concrete right here. They had a vapor barrier under the concrete, and then just the plain cinder blocks. As you can tell, all the cells are empty, meaning there's no bolt holding down that sill, which is negatory. So I'm going to go ahead and I got some concrete and tons of J-bolts, and I'll make new sills for this and a new joist that goes along on top, spaced appropriately from that wall. The other joist was the right distance away from that wall for an 8-foot span. But what's nice about this is that I can cut the 2x8 joist with this little lip cutout so that the joist can go right up against this guy, and I can nail directly this. That's really all that's holding this guy down, was the fact that it had joists around that it could nail to. I don't think there's anything anchoring this to the actual concrete. So by putting the sill right up against here, it won't stick out so far out here. I'll have cutouts for these beams here. And then that'll form a solid foundation to attach this to, and this to, and bolt the whole thing down to the foundation. So of course, this isn't an exterior wall, so bolting this to the foundation isn't as critical in terms of wind. But, you know, it'll hold it down and be close to code. So, anyway, that's where I'm at. Good times. All right, folks. So, I've got all the pieces cut for the sill, and I'm about to pour the concrete. So, I've marked where the hole is for these bolts. I made a channel in the rear so that it can ride on top of this concrete lip here that sticks up a little higher than the CMU. But that'll make this board, which is wider than the CMU, butt up against the sleeper platform here, so that I can nail directly to that. And then I'll just be pouring concrete down into these holes here where I've marked, and put a hole through the plastic. When I came this morning, there was condensation underneath the plastic because it is so wet under here. You can see a little bit of moisture there. It is so wet, probably because the water, this part of the lawn is just a hair higher, maybe 6 inches higher at the peak than the deck, than the bottom of the deck or ground level. So any rain that falls on there or on the deck, it goes underneath this concrete pad and hits this cinder block wall, and basically pumps water up into the wood from below. So by pulling this vapor barrier over, putting this foam on just as kind of a cushion to take up the gap between this wood and the CMU, and the fact that this wood here is pressure treated, I think this will be a good long-term solution. I'm not so concerned about keeping this area dry because I'm going to have an effective vapor barrier underneath the joists of this floor. But as far as the wood that I put on this CMU, I want to protect that. And this will go a long way. Just being pressure treated will make it last. So anyway, the wood that was there was really rotten, but it had been here for probably 60 years. I'll say 55 to 60 years. So, you know, it lasted that long. So back to work. All right, folks, all buttoned up, ready to call it a week. I got the sill plates in and clean up the place, ready to put in the joists, and then the sleeper joists on top of here. That'll be next week. Yeah, my elbows are killing me, so I'm probably gonna go to a doctor and look into my tennis elbow issues. It's been a problem since, I guess, May, so I think it's time that I get that looked at. In the meantime, ultimately, I want to get the subfloor on here before I give a long rest for winter to let my arms heal. So I hope I can get that done. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you.